Hello all and welcome to All Red. If you've ever seen one of my videos or if you've been a fan of the show, you will know that I am a Darwin Nunez fan. But I also don't make excuses for some of his horrific finishing. And I do think he needs to improve in a lot of ways. But I think Darwin Nunez is set to explode next season under Arne Slot. And I'm going to give you kind of three reasons why. We're going to look at three case studies of former players who have played for Arne Slot and what he was able to do for them and why I think that is going to translate to Darwin Núñez's game to give us a world-class striker that we already have in the squad. So let's look at the first case study, and that is going to be Orkun Kökçü. Orkun Kökçü played under Slot at Feyenoord as 2022-23 season, and before that, prior to that. Orkun Kökçü was described, before really getting in with Arne Slot, he was described as a lazy number 10. Now, this guy's not a striker, obviously, and then we're going to look at a couple strikers who Arne Slot has really finely tuned. But Kökçü has really turned into a top player. Before Slot, he was described as lazy. He was described as somebody who didn't care a whole lot. He wasn't fit. And there were a couple of reasons why that was. And one of them, and this is interesting, one of them was Kökçü's insomnia. He had trouble sleeping. And that was obviously hurting his form. If you don't sleep, you're going to be tired. You're going to have a lot of issues, a lot of health issues. Well, Arne Slot came in and he became more than just a coach. So Kökçü was dealing with a little bit of trauma, and Arne Slot found out about that and found out that Kökçü wasn't sleeping, and he basically, what he needed to do, and Arne Slot encouraged him to do this, was to go home and to go to Mecca, to basically make the pilgrimage to Mecca and kind of get right mentally and just kind of get some of these things off of his chest. And that basically cured his insomnia. It helped him sleep. And what Kökçü said of Slot, he said he's more than a trainer. He understands exactly how to deal with people, and that's why I cried when I hugged him after the championship game. So there's this kind of holistic mental approach that Arne Slot brings to his players. And I'm not saying that Jurgen Klopp didn't do some of those things, but Arne Slot really goes deep with his players. Like, if they're not performing well, he is going to not just look at film, not just look at tactics, but look at the person as a whole, look at the mental state of the person. And that's one big reason why I think Darwin Nunez is really going to flourish, because I think Darwin Nunez has all the physical capabilities. There's just some mental things there, like some things that just haven't clicked, some things that he forgets when he's on the pitch, or, there's been a lot of really close offsides calls where Darwin Nunez is offsides, he gets through, he scores, but he's offsides. And I think Arne Slot can fix that. That's a mental error. There are obviously many examples of missing wide open chances, hitting the crossbar, hitting the uprights, and that, I think, is a mental issue. I think that is fixable. I think that's like hey, when you get into that position, what do you think about? Are you stressed out? Are you rushed? Are you what are you thinking about? Like, I feel like this example of Kökçü, where it was like an off-the-field issue, I think Arne Slot is going to be salivating at the chance to come in and get to know Darwin Nunez and really get inside of his head and fix some of these issues from a striking position. All right, number 2 is Myron Badu. Myron Badu played under Slot at AZ Alkmaar, and this is a young player that really thrived under Arne Slot's tutelage. And really kind of came into his own as a player from what Arne Slot was able to do for him. So a couple stats on Myron Badu. He's only 23 years old right now, and he's currently playing for FC Twente. But if you look at where he was at prior to Arne Slot and now where he's at, it's pretty impressive what Arne Slot was able to do with him at AZ Alkmaar. So AZ Alkmaar, he was with him, young player. I think he was like 18 or something at the time, the year before Arne Slot came in. When Arne Slot came in, he had a young striker, a young Dutch striker, who had barely played the year before, and he takes this kid and turns him into, in the 2019-2020 season, his first season with the club, he turns him into an 18-goal striker in all competitions. 18 goals, 8 assists. Young kid, he was like 18, 20 years old at the time. And that gives me a lot of hope because it didn't take him long. It didn't take Arne Slot 2 or 3 years to transform this kid. This kid was like immediately a prolific scorer for the team and did the same the following year. He scored 15 goals in the cup, in the Dutch league, and was an excellent striker for AZ Alkmaar. He has since moved to Monaco, which is a little bit tougher of a task and hasn't quite broken through and hasn't been with Arne Slot. But the results were clear. Myron Badu loved working under Arne Slot. I can tell you a quote from Myron about him. Here's what he said about Arne Slot. Coach Slot helped me understand the spaces in the defense better. His advice on timing my movements made a huge difference in my game. That kind of sounds familiar, right? That kind of sounds like some issues that perhaps Darwin Nunez could use some help on. So that gives me, again, a lot of hope that Arne Slot's been there. He's done that, working with strikers and working with players to work through just those little mental keys. He's already done that. So, all right, let's look at the final guy on the list. You've probably heard this name because Santiago Jimenez is one of the most sought-after strikers now this summer after what he has done at Feyenoord under Arne Slot. So if you look at his stats, Jimenez, what he's been able to do in the past 2 years, it is quite remarkable. I'm going to give you some of those stats. And really, he came in from Mexican leagues and came straight into Feyenoord, and he said himself that it was hard. It was hard to come in from Mexico and play in the Dutch league, but what Arne Slot did was a huge help to him. So came in, had some issues. Arne Slot takes this kid and turns him into a 15-goal striker across 32 matches. Okay, that's great. And it's the Dutch league. That's kind of weak. All right, fine. Well, next year in 23-24, eight additional goals, and comes in and scores 23 goals. 23 goals, 6 assists in the Eredivisie. That's not counting Europa League where he scored a goal and had 2 goals in the Champions League as well across 4 matches. So 26 goals total in all comps for Feyenoord. This guy is sought after. He's also expensive now because of his success. Here's what Santiago Jimenez had to say about Arne Slot. He said, "When I came in, it was difficult, a big step from Mexico. Arne Slot gives me confidence and pushes me to be better. Arne is a great coach." Gives me confidence, pushes me to be better. Arne is a great coach. There are other examples of players that Arne Slot has come in and personally kind of fixed and fine-tuned their games. And I think there are so many opportunities for Slot to do that with Darwin Nunez. I mean, we're talking maybe there needs to be 1 or 2 just things that Slot comes in and fine tunes for Darwin Nunez. It doesn't mean it's not like Darwin Nunez is like a terrible player. You know, he had some great goal contributions this past season. A lot. He had quite a few. And you know, there are just, I feel like there are ways that Slot can come in with a fresh mind, a fresh mindset, and look at Darwin Nunez kind of objectively without any emotion, and really turn him into a world-class striker. I really think that can happen. There are things about, you know, positioning. There's timing. You know, we just looked at that with Myron Badu, how he helped Myron Badu with his timing, and you know, just things like, you know, what do you think about when you're in the box? What do you think about when you're on a breakaway? How do you process, you know, where the keeper's positioning is to where you want to put it? Are you thinking ahead? Are you improvising? Are you being creative? Like what goes through your head? So anyways, I think it's more mental. And I think we just looked at 3 examples of Arne Slot coming in and kind of fine-tuning or tweaking a player's mental state, a player's mental ability, the way that they think about things. So I am super excited for Darwin Nunez to get to play under Arne Slot. And really, you know, I do not think Liverpool should sell Darwin Nunez. I think that would be a huge mistake. I want to give Arne Slot at least a year to work with this kid and see if he can unlock the potential. There's so much potential there. And I couldn't be more excited to see what Arne Slot is able to do to help Darwin Nunez explode. Thanks for watching this all-red clip. If you liked the video, click the like button and comment below. Let me know something about whatever it is you want to say. And, of course, consider joining the All Red community by subscribing to this channel. It's fast, it's easy, it's free, and it's all red. And you're welcome to stay here and keep watching this video as long as you like. But I actually need to go. So, thank you. I'll see you later.